Hello and welcome to Sports Today. As I've said, we will have a VVS Laxman special. A lot of you have told me that Buryada, can you play the full interview? So we will play the full interview. We will play the full interview for you, but let me just contextualize the interview a little bit before I toss to the interview. But before that, let's celebrate Novak Djokovic. I mean, what a performance. Anybody who watched that 4 hours, 10 minutes of tennis last night, the sport was enriched. Each one of us was enriched. The physicality and the mental strength of that man. I mean, the perfect combination of physicality of the highest level and mental strength of a very different nature. Perhaps the most strong mentally in terms of an athlete ever. He will probably finish off with the highest number of Grand Slams won by any athlete of any point in time among Roger, Rafa, or anyone. The Golden Slam is still alive. Olympics, if he does play, twice every slam in the open era, the only man to do so, can well be 2020 if it is Novak Djokovic at Wimbledon again. I mean, nothing can be put past Novak. He's that good. 2-0 Tsitsipas, and all of us thought, the Greek champion is there. It's right there. But nothing to take away from Stefanos Tsitsipas. I mean, that effort, even when he was 15-40 down, final set, comes back, kept pushing, kept at it. That is what sport is all about. He may have lost, but he did not lose. No one lost that contest. No one, according to me, lost that contest. Sport won. And in front of a crowd that loved every bit of it at the Roland Garros, tells you that sport is well and truly alive. Novak Djokovic, 19 Grand Slams. According to me, this will rank at the very top among everything that he has won. The context, pandemic, everything, if you take into account, people coming back, crowds coming back, unbelievable contest, unbelievable champion. Interviewed that man a couple of times, in fact 3 times in the past. Superb athlete whatsoever. You have to love Novak. You have to like him. And then that press conference. Did you see that press conference? If you haven't seen that press conference, the clip that has been tweeted by Roland Garros, go watch it, where he talks about that one fan. He talks about that one fan and says that that fan was constantly in his ear. And he kept telling him he was 2 sets down, hold serve, push him into the backhand, do this. And as a result, he was actually coaching Novak Djokovic, and Novak says that. And as a result, after the match, he goes and hands over his racket to that fan as a gift. Now, that is what athlete-fan synergy and camaraderie is all about. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Number 2, I want to tell you tomorrow, 5 p.m. Sports Today special. We have a Sports Today special building to the test match that starts on the 16th. Our women will be playing test match cricket after several years, and we've got to build up. Today, as we speak, Mithali Raj doing her press conference, the customary press conference. The team has reached the venue. The question that we will ask, is India ready? Can India do it? Who are our players? We will recollect. We've got a stellar panel. We've got Rima Malhotra, former cricketer. We've got Jaya Sharma, former cricketer. We will have a packed panel tomorrow. Send your questions using Ask Boria for the panelists, because it will be a special show tomorrow on Sports Today, 5 p.m. The entire show will be on that test match, building up to that test match. Men's cricket can wait for the following day because we've got a little bit of time. And as I said, a big exclusive coming your way today. So tomorrow is women's cricket. Following day, again, we can go back to the men. And our Olympic build-up will continue. Our Olympic build-up big time will continue. Euro will continue with Rajorshi at 8 p.m. We will come and break news the moment news develops in any part of the world. That's how we are here on Sports Today. Because this is a platform that is for you and for sports news. Any important news item from any part of the world, we will come to you. To VVS. VVS is one of the greatest that India has produced. Batting with the tail. Can New Zealand's tail be the marker? What should India do? The Duke's ball. What is different with the Duke's ball? Explain that to me. Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja. How important is that middle order? Middle and late middle order, because he batted there. Ishant or Siraj, a direct question. Will he opt for Ishant Sharma? Will he opt for Mohammad Siraj? What does VVS Laxman think? Direct question, Rohit Sharma's role at the top. So all of the questions, and finally, very importantly, what would he have sort of looked at the WTC when he was a player? That is also equally important as far as Laxman is concerned. So every question has been asked. Every possible question over the next 22, 23 minutes that you will watch has been asked of VVS Laxman. Let me quickly take a couple of questions before I toss to the interview. Oh man, you guys have asked already 100 plus. Unpredictable weather, hamper the Indian batsman's rhythm. Pranav, Anmol Sagar. If you see match between England New Zealand, would conceded 100 run less. Sachin, Anubhav, why is Indian journalism very bad? You think I'm bad? I think I'm very good. I honestly think I work the hardest. And in terms of bad, what do you mean? In terms of quality of news stories, in terms of breaks, in terms of interviews, I think we are very good. And not only me, the quality of Indian journalism is extremely good. We are news hounds. There are many, many good journalists around, men and women and budding journalists. And you know your problem? You have come to watch an Indian journalist speak on his show. If we are bad, you know the answer. Rafael, Melvin, Tommy, rain forecast, that's England. If England is without rain, you know my theory of British imperialism, with that weather and with that food, what else could you do but conquer the world? Aru Shah with Matt Henry performing, I think they might well go in with 4 fast bowlers. Vignesh Kumar, view on Satvik and Chirag. We will come to Olympics, and yes, Satvik and Chirag have a great chance. And by the way, I'm delighted that Palak Kohli has a brand as well. She has now an endorsement. This is very important that para-athletes are getting recognized as real stars, and they are. So I'm thrilled for Palak Kohli. I'm in touch with Palak. I think she has a tremendous chance for a Paralympic medal. Your view on Satvik Chirag answered that. Virat Kohli injured. Come on. No. That's a rumor doing the rounds. Obonindra Mondol, I'm a biased interviewer. I am very good here. Biased or not biased, my interview, what's your problem? Arusha, Matt Henry, I've answered that. Shikhar, why we haven't seen Arjun Nagwaswala in intra-squad matches, as he's a left-hander? I'm sure we have. I mean, have you seen live action? I mean, if he's there to bowl at the nets, intra-squad, maybe as a net bowler, they're not playing the net bowlers. So that's not a problem. But he is definitely there with the team to give the team practice, and he will. Sir, बारिश होगा. इंग्लैंड में तो बारिश होगा ही भाई. Deepanita Chatterjee, बारिश तो होगा ही there. It will happen. But that doesn't mean that the game will not have a result. I asked VVS, 6 days. 6 days, so we will definitely have a result, Deepanita. I hope we have a result and not a joint winner. Okay. Some more before I toss to the interview. Manoj, Virat choosing Siraj over Ishan will be a bold move. It will be a bold move. Both are equally good. Tough call. Current era of, what was that question on women's cricket? Women's cricketer does not respect their head coaches. Come on. I'm tired of this nonsense, you know. Tired of this rubbish. Just stop this. Kohli 61 पर खेल रहा है, perfect match. मैं बार-बार आप लोगों को कह रहा हूँ ये practice match पे मत जाइए. Who will win? अगर मुझे पता होता तब तो मैं भगवान होता. What is this? Shanky. Kohli 61. दादा, हम लोग चैंपियन हो. अगर मुझे रिजल्ट पता होता तो मैं तो चैंपियन हो जाता. वो सारे जो फैंटेसी प्लेटफॉर्म्स है वो परफेक्ट टीम बना के सारे प्राइज में खुद जीत जाता. Anyway, it's time to toss to the VVS Laxman interview. Next 22 minutes. Enjoy. Fascinating conversation with a very, very special man. One of the very best that we've produced. Every question asked, every question answered. Ashish, can we start the interview, please?
Hello and welcome to this very special interview with a very, very special man. I mean, you've seen our chats before. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Someone I deeply respect and admire. VVS, a very special test match coming up for India. Perhaps one of the most important test matches in history. Your first thoughts, you will be commentating. Must be excited.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's quite exciting because, you know, over the years, I think for players who play only test match cricket, there has been no significant tournament. You know, yes, there has been a point system every year. You know, you get a maze for the best test playing nation in the world. But unfortunately, like T20 or like 50-over format, there's no World Cup for test match cricket. You know, whereas it's a wonderful initiative by the ICC, and over the last 2 years, you know, even though it was hampered by COVID, it's great to see that it's coming to a very good end. And luckily, India has been very consistent throughout the World Test Championship cycle, and so has been New Zealand. So it's going to be an exciting Test match. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a very, very exciting finals.
So how are you looking at it? I mean, we have seen India starting intra-squad games, New Zealand playing 2 test matches. How are you looking at it? Does match practice give New Zealand an edge, or does it not? New Zealand also has some injury concerns as a result. How are you looking at it?
Yeah, there's no doubt that when you're playing in a foreign condition, especially in England, ideally you would want at least one, if not two, practice matches under your belt just to get used to the conditions there, get used to the pitch, get used to the just the environment there. But I think India will definitely be disappointed that they didn't have any match practice going into the all important finals. But what we have seen with this Indian team over the last couple of years, or probably more, is they're very resilient. There's a lot of character in this team. So, irrespective of whatever challenges or obstacles they face, they're up for the fight. And I'm sure that that's what Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli will be talking to the entire team. That's a communication. That's a strong message. They will be conveying to the entire team. Is don't think about what we don't have or what we didn't get. Let us focus on switching on right from the first ball of the finals. And I think that's what I'm sure the Indian team will be doing come the finals. But it's going to be evenly contested match because New Zealand also is a wonderful side. Especially in these conditions, I think they will definitely pose a big threat to India, keeping in mind the experienced bowling attack they have.
You've stretched the bowling attack. I was coming to that. So is it going to be a contest in that sense between the 2 bowling attacks, perhaps the most versatile 2 bowling attacks in the world at this point?
Well, I think it is more about which team bats better. And if you see the balance of the batting lineup of both the sides, I feel that there's a lot more experience and class in this Indian batting lineup. Whereas with New Zealand, yes, they've got exciting young opener in the form of Conway, who has done well against England in the ongoing Test series. There's experienced Ross Taylor, Latham, and then Kane Williamson. But if you see the amount of experience, the talent, the exuberance the Indian batting lineup possesses, so I believe that whichever batting lineup scores big above par total in the first innings will hold the edge. Because as far as the bowling lineup is concerned, I think both the teams have got experienced fast bowlers. India is really blessed to have 2 quality spinners. So overall, there's again a very good balance in the Indian bowling lineup. But I think whichever team bats well will have the edge, and will dictate the terms.
You've mentioned the 2 spinners. David Warner was on my show mentioning the 2 spinners, VVS. He was saying that Ravindra Jadeja has this incredible quality that the moment there is a little bit of a foot mark, he will land it over after over after over. And obviously, there are many left-handers in the New Zealand lineup for Ashwin. So just set it up for me. The 2 spinners first, would you definitely play the 2 because they have all-round ability? And how important can they be in Southampton?
Yeah, I think I will definitely play both the spinners, because what Ravindra Jadeja has shown that is not only a batsman who can contribute and play cameo knocks, but he can play big knocks, especially under pressure. I still remember the partnership he had with Ajinkya Rahane when the chips were down in Melbourne, and unfortunately after that he got injured. So overall, I think that Ravindra Jadeja will definitely perform as a batsman at number 7, and being a left-hander, I think he's someone who can give that edge to the Indian batting lineup, who can take on the fast bowlers, also take on the spinners by playing his natural game. But as far as bowling is concerned, it's not only when the footmarks are available for Jadeja, but also now he's become a more versatile bowler. He's improved as far as his bowling is concerned. So even he can beat the batsman on the first day of the Test match, in his flight, is improved in that aspect. And Ravichandran Ashwin is a top class of spinner. There's no doubt that he's one of the greats of the game. The way he has consistently won matches for India, not only performed but won matches in India, and the recent tour to Australia is an example of that. The way he restricted the run flow of the best of batsmen, the way he got Steve Smith out by setting him up quite consistently shows that he is high in confidence. So I will definitely play both the spinners. Ravindra Jadeja will be batting at number 7. And probably Ashwin will be batting at number 8, and there will be depth in the batting as well as in the bowling department. There will be versatility.
So now the critical question, VVS, so much talk, Ishant or Siraj. Will you sort of put your money on one, or will you say both are equally good? India has this luxury of many good fast bowlers now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there's no doubt that India is blessed with quality players, and we've been talking over the last 2 years the way Indian cricket has progressed, the way the bench strength has become very, very strong, and there's a lot of factors which is responsible for this situation the Indian team is in. But I feel that Siraj has been excellent in Australia series, also against England. But the way Ishant Sharma over the years has contributed to Indian cricket and Indian cricket team is just unbelievable. So what do we want in this all important finals is a lot of experience. And the way Ishant Sharma has given that solidity to the Indian voting lineup. So I would definitely go with Ishant Sharma, Mohammad Shami, and Bumrah. These three will be my fast bowling lineup. And there's a lot of experience, a lot of class and quality in this fast bowling lineup.
So, with these three, the two spinners, I mean, is this perhaps one of the best ever attacks in terms of versatility and in terms of overall balance that you have seen in the last 20, 30 years?
Yeah, I definitely feel that the overall balance, the versatility, and the quality of all the five bowlers are match winners. So I think that's something which Indian team is blessed with. And one of the reasons why we are playing the finals of this World Test Championship is the way the bowling attack has performed consistently. Not only in overseas conditions, even in Indian conditions. We talk about the turning tracks in India, but if you see in this cycle of World Test Championship, the way Shami bowled, the way Ishan bowled, even on Indian conditions, is just unbelievable. Umesh Yadav, let us not forget the contribution of Umesh Yadav. Unfortunately, is not there in this lineup at the moment in Southampton. So overall, the fast bowlers have done well in Indian conditions, and Ashwin and Jadeja also have done well in overseas conditions. So I believe India is blessed to have five quality match winners, who can put a lot of pressure on the best of batsmen. It's not only about taking wickets, but also restricting the flow of runs and understanding the situation. And that is where the experience of these five bowlers will definitely count.
Yes, you played so much cricket in England, I mean, from early 1990s. And again, that is part of another show which you and I must do as to what you did in England. You worked despite being, I mean, you have been an inspiration in every sense. I mean, you worked the nights, then you played cricket. But give me a sense, having played so much of cricket in England, give me a sense of the Duke ball. Make me understand what is different with the Duke ball, because everyone I speak to tells me, with the Duke ball, the swing in England, different from SG, different from Kookaburra. Give me an understanding, VVS, the importance of the Duke ball.
I think it plays a very big part in Test match cricket in England, because ball, especially for the fast bowlers, if it is hard and if it lasts for a long period of time, that hardness, the shine, if it is there for long periods of time, and with the environment there, with the conditions there, with a lot of breeze there, the overcast conditions may come into play. There's a lot of help for the fast bowlers, and that's why I think the fast bowlers are almost invincible in English conditions. And on top of that, the pitch also assists them because there will be grass cover. There will be not only movement in the air, but also there will be a lot of lateral movement of the wicket. And the reason for that is the Duke's ball, because it's hard, and the seam is protruded and it lasts long. It's because when you play in other conditions and using Kookaburra or SG, at some time the ball can get soft, because of that there's hardly any movement for the seam bowlers. So I think that's why I think the English bowlers have been very successful. You can take the record of Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad, the way they've been successful in English conditions compared to other conditions. One of the important reasons is the Duke's ball. So I think it's not only something which will be beneficial for the fast bowlers, because if you ask any spinner, if he bowls with a hard ball, if he bowls with a ball which has got shine, he can also use the conditions effectively. And that's what probably the Indian spinners, Jadeja and Ashwin, will look to do.
Now, coming to the batting department, let's start at the top. I mean, it is so very difficult to bat against quality bowlers and swing in England. Shubman Gill is still a relatively young man making his sort of ground at in the international level. Your thoughts on Rohit and Shubman and the approach that they should adopt? They played well. I mean, Rohit obviously is a class act, been around for years. But Shubman showed what he's capable of in Australia. But it will be difficult. And what should be the approach?
See, there's no doubt that it's going to be challenging conditions for the openers, and on top of that, in front of them, they will be having three world-class bowlers, which they have to face. So I just feel that the basics for any opener is to see off the new ball. The initial 10, 15, 20 overs is going to be challenging. And I can just go back from the experience I had playing with some of the greats of the game. The best I've seen in my generation who performed in English conditions was Rahul, Sachin, and Saurav. And what I've learned from them, watching them, is there are two important factors to score consistent in England. Number one is your footwork. Number two is knowing where your off stump is. Now, if you have a good forward stride, a good long stride, and you're always looking to play the full ball, you automatically wait for the ball to come close to you. Whereas if you play with a less footwork, then automatically you will reach out towards the ball, which is never, it is never good in English conditions because you're always exposing your outside edge, and there will be also a bat and pad gap which is created. So I believe having a good long stride and looking for a full ball is very critical. Second important aspect of performing in English conditions is to know where your off stump is, because you don't want to poke at the ball which are missing the off stump. So if you have your good still head position and you know where your off stump is, then you can look to leave the ball consistently and force the bowlers to bowl to your strength. And majority of the Indian batsmen are very strong, whichever on the line which comes into their body. They're very strong, wristy players. So I just feel that these are the two important things which Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma should keep in mind. Not only these two opening batsmen, but also the entire batting lineup. Because unlike some other conditions in England, always there is a chance for the bowlers to put pressure on you. Even though you feel that you got to a 30 or 40, you have a start, but still the ball is going to do something. The wicket will assist the bowlers. So it's always important to have the discipline, just like the way Virat Kohli showed in the 2018 series. He knew where his off stump was, and he always took a long stride, and that's why he was playing the ball underneath his height and with not a hard hand, but also always with soft hands. And that's something which is important to perform in English conditions.
You've gone to Virat, so set it up for me. I mean, how important is Virat? Because he will obviously, he's on the cusp of history. ICC, inaugural World Test Championship, legacy match. How should Virat approach? I mean, you've seen Virat from being a child, so just talk to me about it.
Yeah, I think he should approach the game, which I'm confident he will, like any other game, because Virat is someone who prepares really well for any challenges he's going to confront, but doesn't unnecessarily take pressure on himself. Because yes, it's an important final. It's an inaugural World Test Championship final, and he knows that not only as a batsman but as a captain, he's got a great opportunity to hold that ICC trophy. But I think when you are playing at the highest level, and someone like Virat, who's taken a lot of pride playing for his country, representing his country, he will just go out and play to his strength. I'm sure he will fall back on the recipe or the formula he has had over so many years for his success, and he'll just repeat that. And that's why he's been so consistent over the years. He knows that if Virat Kohli, the batsman, score runs, India will always be in a formidable situation, and that's what he will be aiming to do. He'll not be looking at runs, he'll be looking at spending time at the wicket, and once he does that, runs will flow automatically from his blade.
You're part of the IPL. I mean, you see these things very closely and are more observant than any one of us. Kylie Jamieson and Virat Kohli, same team. Ajinkya Rahane and Trent Bolt, same team. Playing them at the nets. Do these things help?
Oh yeah, definitely it helps. Not only to understand the technique of the batsman or a bowler, but also the mindset, and that's what IPL has done. You understand the opposition players a lot more, the psyche of the opposition players a lot more. In fact, it will be helpful in a lot of ways, because you know how a player responds in a particular situation. So that can be taken as an advantage, but also it can be a disadvantage if you're on the other side of the coin. So I just feel that because of IPL, the closeness between the players, you understand the players' psyche, the mindset a lot more than compared to before IPL, when you didn't spend too much of time with the opposition players. So not only the players understand the strengths and the weaknesses of a particular player, but they also understand how a player thinks in a particular situation, and that can be an advantage for the player.
I spoke to the members of the team in India, VVS, and after the first test match in Chennai, that is, and everyone said the ground was like a graveyard without any people, because they had just played in Australia where there were fans. and they are used to support. And they were like, from the second test match in India, at that point, the second wave had not come. So we had fans. And that made a massive difference. Now in Southampton also, we will have fans. And one can only expect there will be Indian fans, because Indian fans will come. Will that make a difference, you think? Do these things make a difference?
Yeah, it definitely makes a difference, because as an artist, because I feel that cricketers are artists. They're out there to entertain the people while they're doing their jobs and performing for their respective teams and countries. But I think, an artist doesn't like to perform in front of an empty stadium or stand. So I think it will be definitely beneficial for the players, especially if the situation is not right. I think the fans, with the energy they get into the stadium, I'm sure that can change the psyche and the mindset of the players. But having said that, one of the things which is a red flag for the Indian team is they've never performed well over the last few years in the first test of any series. So that is something which I'm sure, again, that players will understand, because this is the only match and this is the all important final. So they have to start well. They don't have an opportunity to come back in the series, because this is a one-off match, important finals. So I think being switched on and starting well will be very critical. And I'm sure the fans will add to the that to create that energy, to create that atmosphere. But I think the players have to dig deep within to be ready from the word go.
Is there something that Ravi will absolutely have to do? I mean, that's where Ravi comes in with all his experience and all the inspiration that he gives to everyone, the role of Ravi.
Yeah, I think he's a natural motivator. We've seen over the years, I've experienced that in my playing career, because whenever you have a chat with Ravi, just a 5 or 10 minutes chat, you really feel good about yourself, because that's what that's the kind of character he is. But Ravi also will be proud of the way the players have played over the last 2-3 years, because it's not only about qualifying for the World Cup, World Test Championship final, but the way these players have responded to adversities, embraced challenges. I think he, as a head coach, will definitely be proud of. So I think what Ravi will be telling to the players is not put undue pressure on yourself. Just go out and enjoy yourself. It's a great atmosphere. It's a great occasion to be part of. So just go out and play your natural game. Go out and enjoy yourself, and don't think about the result. And that's what I think the message from Ravi will be.
Whenever we chat, time just flies. I mean, I didn't know where 19 minutes went past, but the last one, VVS. Is there a favorite, or there is also a possibility of joint winners? I mean, if there is a draw, both Virat and Kane can hold the trophy. Are you seeing that possibility at all? Do you see there will be a result, and is there a favorite according to you?
Well, there will definitely be a result. Luckily, the only issue always in England is the weather, and luckily there's an additional day given to counter if at all rain interrupts the game. But I'm sure there will be a result. There will be a winner, and I still back India to win this trophy, because the amount of talent, the amount of quality the Indian team has, in both the departments. I think they have an edge. Having said that, you never take New Zealand lightly. You never take New Zealand lightly, because one thing which I admire with the New Zealand team over the years, not only this New Zealand team, but New Zealand team over the years, is they are always punch above their weight. They always give more than their 100%, and that's why they're so consistent in all the three formats. So I just feel that the advantage with New Zealand is they're already used to the English conditions. They already played 2 test matches before the finals against England, against the home side. That will definitely be the advantage, and that's why I think it will be an evenly matched match. But the quality of this Indian team, the resilience this Indian team and players have shown over the last few years, I'll still back India to win this championship.